Hi, everybody. Welcome to this week's live crystal channeling here on Instagram. And I'm starting a bit late today. I apologize for starting late. I froze on my way to my office because it's freezing. So I hope that wherever you guys are in the world, that you're warm and you're safe. Right now, I think our wind chill is almost minus 40 degrees Celsius. And yet, on the other side of the world, my aunt, who lives in Australia, her temperature is plus 40 degrees or more Celsius. So it's becoming a fun world we live in temperature wise. However, that's not why you're here. So thank you for the love, everyone. Thank you for joining. Today, this is the crystal that I'm going to be channeling from Amazonite. This piece of Amazonite has been with me for a long time. It's been with me for I think 15 years, maybe a bit longer. It was part of my crystal healing kit when I was working as a crystal healer in New York City full time. So this has seen a lot of action. It's seen a lot of healing over the years. But it's interesting that this was such a popular crystal that you guys have been requesting and voting for on a weekly basis. My box for that will go up after this today in my stories. Because as we are moving forward into 2019, and we've been through this really kind of huge healing shift with the eclipses, and now we've got a new moon, we've got Imbolc happening over the weekend and into next week, then we get into the new lunar year. I think that being able to be authentic with ourselves and others, being able to honor boundaries, being able to really fully show up for ourselves, is going to be such a big theme in many people's process. And this crystal is such a big part of that in terms of the energy it emits. So without further ado, I will close my eyes, settle in. And it's interesting because as this crystal's energy flows up into my body, it immediately comes into this area, which is where I've always really felt Amazonite's energy, connects strongly and powerfully in our body, because this is the heart chakra and throat chakra connection, which is all about us, not only just expression. We think so much of expression and communication with the throat chakra, but what's really coming through with this crystal right now is listening. Being able to listen, being able to hear what our hearts are telling us, because our heart is the gateway. We talk about how it's the balancer between our lower physical selves and experience and our upper spiritual selves and experience in terms of chakra position in our bodies. But it's also the gateway in terms of helping us to manage and live, in our lives in tandem with both of those energies. And what Amazonite is saying to me right now, what the energy is coming through, is that this crystal is so much about us listening to ourselves, listening to our truth, hearing our truth, because it's saying it's impossible for us to move along our paths, to move down our paths in terms of our life path, our soul purpose, in a way that is fruitful, in a way that is fulfilling, in a way that is engaging, our true purpose here, if we're not able to hear our truth. And as we all know, being able to hear ourselves, our feelings, our hearts, to trust it, to follow it, to be in connection with that, in alignment with that, can be so freaking challenging in this world where we have so many obligations, duties, and shoulds, that big incarcerating word, should. So this is very much about us being able to drop down into our heart center and hear it in a real way, not just, this is a real straight up crystal, not just, in kind of the foofy-loofy spiritual way of I'm hearing myself, I'm listening to myself, but in this really weird, real way where it's like, wait a second, I'm feeling that no, I'm feeling no, I'm feeling this isn't right for me. I'm feeling like I've really got to engage with this, because just even thinking about that and focusing on that or making this decision or taking this action or whatever it might be, I can feel how all of a sudden I feel more joyful. I feel more real. I feel more alive. So it's this very, I'm getting chills all over now. It's this really very real experience about us being able to hear ourselves and embody ourselves, which I know from hearing from so many of you out there, this is what you're working on. This is what you're seeking to engage as more becomes tumultuous in our world. Being able to truly hunker down and connect in that heart center and pursue what we feel to ourselves, is our truth, is right for us, is what's going to bring us joy and fulfillment, and all the gorgeous things that come along with that: health, abundance, success, family life, whatever it might be, all comes in tandem with being able to engage with our authentic truth, our authentic selves, and being willing to be grounded in that. That's what's being, grounded in the heart center is about. And what it's telling me is part of the edge, part of the power that comes from working with this crystal and being in that place, is that affirming boundaries becomes so much easier, not just with other people, although of course that's a big thing, but also with ourselves, because we tend not to pay attention so much to how we violate our own boundaries. And that happens whenever we betray our truth, betray our needs, betray our feelings, betray the choices that, we really feel we need to make, but for whatever reason we don't. And it's not about punishing ourselves about that. Again, it's about coming into that authentic awareness. So Amazonite is a great stone of power, crystal of power for this year. For those of you who are like, I am ready for that life. I've done this. I've done the head leading me through my life. I've done the ego. I've done the mind. I've done the fear. I've done the wounds. I'm ready for that authentic, heart-centered experience, what people keep talking about. I want to actually be able to embody that and live that. And this is your power stone and your power crystal. So that's today's channeling. That's the power of Amazonite. Really great, beautiful bluey green crystal that again connects you with that true heart-centered self, but in a real way, in a practical way, so that we can live that grounded and embodied truth. So there you have it. Thank you so much, guys, for joining me this week with the channeling of this crystal. My request box to vote for your crystal for next week will go up in a few minutes after this. I will, of course, as always, be adding this video to IGTV. And for people who are deaf or who are hard of hearing, I'm also starting to upload these onto YouTube as well, so that there's a closed captioning option. Instagram, something for you to consider, making your platform more accessible. So thanks very much, guys. Big love to you. Take care, and I will see you next week.